Welcome back to Bonanza Disc Golf, another episode of Bag It or Bin It, where I look at a disc and see if you should put it in your bag or throw it in the trash, or in my case, put it in the Bonanza bin so that people can win it when they face me in my Bonanza battles. Today, I'm in Tallahassee at Buck Lake Disc Golf Course, which is actually at a church, and it's a little 9-hole course, mostly putter only, and you guys have actually requested more gyro. So today, we're gonna look at the MVP Paradox, Axiom Paradox, I keep getting that wrong, which is 5-4-4-0. That's gonna be flippy. The way that Bag It or Bin It works is I'm gonna play these 9 holes with just this disc. If I can't beat par with just this disc, I have to give it away within the next 3 days, even if I say that it's a bag it and not a bin it. I'm very interested because I've only thrown this disc one time. It feels very similar to a mint lobster, which makes sense. I threw that also one time in another Bonanza battle. They're made by pretty much the same company, the plastics at least. So I'm interested to see how this flies. And normally what I do is I compare it with some other discs. And I have some of my flippier discs that I own in here, but just based on the numbers alone, I don't think I'm gonna have anything that even close to compares. If we're looking at the feel of this disc first, it is very shallow here in terms of the bead or little micro bead area and the lip of the disc. Normally what you'll see is the flippier the disc gets, the more kind of smushed together these two parts get, the bottom part and the top lip. The further away they are, you'll see that on like a Justice or something, which is very overstable, and that causes a lot of drag to make it want to hook up. Very interested to see how this flies, and if I can even beat par in this 9-hole course, because it is pretty technical since it's Florida disc golf. So here we are at hole number 1. It's 265. You have a Mando to the right of that tree, and then it goes to the left. Honestly, this is probably going to be a forehand, flip up, turnover that I'm going to try to throw along the right side, just to make sure we don't miss the Mando, because that could be catastrophic fast here. Wow. That's a great shot. I mean, that's pretty much what I wanted to do. A little bit scarier. Could have left it higher, but I did not want to test that Mando. We're kind of gonna have a putt. All right, so first flight with the Paradox is pretty interesting because on that forehand, I first off didn't throw it very hard for like how I can throw a forehand, because I knew it didn't need to go super far, but I also expected, just based on the numbers, it was gonna be super flippy. Also, it's in the Neutron plastic. I don't know how that changes stuff with Axiom. I've really only thrown a couple gyro molds, including the MV that I did a Bag It or Bin It on, but I released that on hyzer. It flipped out to flat and turned all the way over and burned into the ground. Luckily made the Mando, and we are gonna putt with it because you can't tell me what to do. I'll put all of the haters to rest right here. Do you feel rested? Probably not. All right, it's a putter. Ha, told you. The profile of this is so weird. It feels so good in the hand, and this plastic feels so good. I really like the way that this feels on a forehand and a backhand, honestly. I just don't know if I have a place for something this flippy in my bag right now. But I did bring a super bead in this that might be this stability. We'll have to check maybe on this next hole. Hole 2, we have another 260 feet straight out the gap here, which is actually kind of perfect for a flippy disc. That is what I threw on here when I was playing with some subscribers a little bit ago. Put on a lot of hyzer, let it flip, and let it turn through that first gap. The 2 discs I'm probably gonna throw with this are going to be the Fuse and my really flippy Pure. The Fuse is 5.6 -1.0, and my Pure is 3.3 -1.1, but it's in the eco plastic and it's very beat in. It's kind of what this slot is in my bag, but I might want to replace it because, I mean, that is a putter, so it is a little bit slower, but I imagine this might do the same thing that that does for me, just a little longer. We'll have to see. So I'm gonna throw the Paradox first. Also, just a cool name. I kind of really like gyro stuff. Wow, that is so flippy. Hit the line. Honestly, the fact that that flipped so much, it didn't really burn though. Like, it didn't flip into a roller. That's kind of interesting. Like, super flippy. Like, I put a lot of hyzer on it, it still turned over. But the fact that it like hit at such a severe angle didn't let it like skip into the woods, which is kind of nice. That's pretty sweet, actually. I might use that on this shot. We'll go with the Fuse next. Yeah, I try to put that on the same amount of hyzer, and the Fuse has a little bit more late turn, but it takes a while for it to get there. And now we're gonna go Pure, which I think will be the most similar, but it's only a 3-speed, so it's a very different disc. Yeah, see, even that has a little bit more late turn. The Paradox, that's interesting. That was a great shot. But the Paradox kind of flips and then doesn't have as much late turn. It flips fast, and then it just keeps turning, whereas those ones flip a little slower, and then I'm gonna have to continue testing that because they flip a little slower, but then they have that late turn, whereas the Paradox kind of is the opposite. That's really interesting. How do you make plastics do so many different things? Okay, so I do feel like I threw these a little different. Here is the Pure, which is pretty solid, honestly. I mean, obviously. And then the Paradox, pretty close in distance too. I will say, even though it might seem like I'm totally a robot and throw everything perfectly the exact same every single time, I don't. So I imagine that this, I threw a little bit harder for sure, because I knew it was a putter. So got the paradox here. Let's go, down one. Let's keep it that way, keep it rolling. I do feel like these are pretty similar, but I don't really know how else to compare because I don't have anything at all that flies like this. This is slower, so I have to throw it harder, and it turns later, which is interesting, which might make sense because it is beat in, and so those tend to have later turns and then later fades compared to this disc. So we're just probably gonna throw the paradox here on out, see if we can shoot well with it, try it on a bunch of different angles, and hopefully stay under par so I don't have to give it away because I kind of like it. Thanks, Jason, for giving it to me. Appreciate you. All right, here we have hole number 3, straight up the gut, like right there. My play, it's only 195, is just an overstable approach disc through that gap, coming back. I'm thinking though, honestly, I might try, see how touchy my forehand can get. Hyzer flip, low, touch forehand. Oh, that was looking so good. Super slow how I threw it, so it didn't really turn as much, but I was a little scared initially because I put on so much hyzer, and it just slowly popped up and started to turn. So it seems like the slower you throw it, the slower it's going to turn, but it will still turn. And if it had more airtime, it was definitely gonna turn around that tree. Like that zero fade is so true. It's never coming back, and it'll just keep turning, which is kind of nice. That can be very workable for a lot of shots. I think we're, oh yeah, we're definitely outside the circle. Let's go! Oh yeah, baby. Let's freaking go! I am so bad at those anti-putts. That's why I'm so happy about that right now. All right, 2 down, just gotta keep playing solid. Basket straight through those little trees. The line though, is just a shot through here. Honestly, this is kind of the disc that I needed because I don't wanna have to throw a putter hard at this, but I wanna throw something at that big tree through this first gap and just let it fade out. Oh, kissed off that tree, terrible. That's the other problem. Since I'm not touchy like that, or since I'm not used to throwing shots like that, sometimes you don't know the angles or the lines to throw. Maybe we can make an 80-footer. Good pitch through. Alrighty. I'm very interested on a disc like this for a shot like this because my play was an Opto Pure, which is pretty stable. I would call it 3400. I'll show you that real fast, which is just pretty hard and straight at the basket. And I've parked it now pretty much 3 times in a row. It'll be interesting trying to play this, which is just a different type of throw, where instead of throwing an anhyzer, I throw it maybe a little higher, maybe a little hyzered, and probably pretty soft because I do need a little bit of finish at the end of it. So we'll see if we can actually hit this gap with something like this. It's not a shot that I'm used to throwing. Hopefully that can be good. Oh yeah, that's high enough. That might be too short. Yeah, I think that's very short, but it's really hard for me to try to figure out how to throw a very understable disc slow enough that it'll fade, but fast enough that it'll get to the basket. Well, I was wrong. I wouldn't quite call this short. Solid. I'm hitting gaps, you know? I like this disc, especially for beginners, because this will probably be dead straight as you have a very low arm speed, and it'll teach you to be touchy as your arm speed speeds up. People say that with like a Mako 3 or whatever, but I think that that can get demoralizing when you're a beginner because it will fade on you really fast. Whereas this won't. It'll help teach you to throw straight. And then especially because, like, if you're watching me, like, even though this disc is very flippy and I could easily roll it over, I see a lot of times people will play and they'll be like, oh, I'm just rolling everything over. But what they're actually doing is instead of releasing it actually flat and following through flat, they'll release it here and then they'll go like this with their arm and they'll open up their hand, and that doesn't actually release it flat, it burns it over for you. So if I'm able to, or people who have way faster arm speeds than me are able to release this flat and have it go straight or control the level of turn that it has, this is gonna teach you a lot in your game. Even if you are a better player, sometimes getting a really flippy disc like this is teaching me a lot of finesse, having to worry about speed control, which is something I'm not great at. This might just be a teacher for me in my bag, so I'm stoked about that. Alrighty, now we got a pretty serious gap shot. I have been just hitting this with a pure straight up the gut. I think that's probably the play here, but this might be too flippy. Wow, that disc is very, very flippy. Oh, that's gonna be just outside the circle. Let's go. All right, here we are. Got an island hole 205 feet away from us right there, which is not great for just a backhand because this is gonna want to turn. So I think we're going forehand again. We'll flip to turn. We'll make it happen. Sit down. Oh, good sit. That thing gets so flippy on that forehand. There's just that extra bit of torque at the beginning, even though you put it on hyzer, just kind of boom, turns it over real fast. So far though, I mean, we have, what, 2 holes left after this one? Let's change that exposure, big boy. I'm really liking it so far. I don't know if I would like bag it, but sometimes it's nice to have like one of those discs in your bag. That's kind of for fun, kind of for throwing. You do sometimes need those really, really big turnover shots. All right, I do not think I even have anything from over here. And we got a little headwind, so just a little putt over. Sit. Not much we could do there, but we'll take it. Don't worry, that's where we're going. All right, we got 2 holes left to get one more birdie because we're 4 down. This is 260 feet, and these are honestly the hardest 2 holes to get it. I really should have gotten it on that one, so that's unfortunate. I should have realized. 260 feet, just kind of up and around there. So pretty low turnover that you hit hard on a lot of hyzer that finishes pretty late. Really hope we can get it on this one. I mean, 4 wouldn't be bad, but if I can't get 5, that'd be pretty disappointing. Get through it. I think that's there. Let's go. I missed the first guardian tree and hit that little gap. And after that, I threw it pretty hard. So it's kind of just pinball, but I'm pretty sure it's down there. All right, this was that first gap that I was needing to sneak through that I just got through. And then we're pinballed. Where the heck did we go? I saw something move way back by the basket. This could be good or really bad. Oh, let's go. It was that. My disc is right back there. Yes, 5 down, just gotta get a par. Let's go. I'm so glad I hit that gap, but just off the jump. Ooh, this is a good thumbnail spot, actually. It's hard for me to say bag it or bin it because it's not quite either for me. I really like this as a disc. I don't know if it just has a place in my bag though. Let me throw this and I'll give my final conclusions because I'm still kind of up in the air. But this one, like I said, is 285 feet to the pin. Mando left of that tree. So I think you have to just throw in a lot of hyzer and maybe, I don't even know, because there is slight headwind too. Pitch up, take an easy 3. Oh my gosh, that's flips of daisies. Oh, good kick, good kick. That's so flippy. I think similar to how I put the MV in my bag, semi spoiler alert, still go watch the video after this one. But I put that in my bag kind of alongside my peers to see how I like it. And I think I'm actually might be taking it out of my bag. I think this one's gonna go in my bag and I'm gonna pit it against the Fuse as I'm practicing and training and throwing. And it's gonna be in there because it definitely does have more turn. It'll by far be the flippiest disc that's in my bag. I just don't wanna commit to putting it in the bag because I don't know. But I will say, in general, bag it, don't bin it. All right, I'm probably just gonna pitch this up, not even gonna try to run it. That is not as close as I want it to be, at all. All right, bogey-free, 5 down. Axiom Paradox. Bag it, why not? Bag it, don't bin it. If you wanna see another bag it or bin it that we did with the MV, check that over here, or the Pig. Please join my Patreon if you want to tell me which disc to review at that 3rd tier level, with a lot more benefits as well. Subscribe, like the video. I dare you. Make 2 circle 2 putts in a row or you have to subscribe. That's the new rule. I think I did that in this video actually, so wait, that means I don't have to subscribe to myself. I make bad rules. Okay, see you in the next one, bye.